Breaking news now, one killed, another injured in an early morning shooting in Grand Rapids.
2 officers were involved. 13 on your sides. Trevier Gonzalez is live at the scene where police are investigating. Trevier, what do we know at this hour?
Hey, good morning, guys. There is a lot of information that is coming up. We actually just recently did speak with the chief. We're over here along Division, though, and this is a very widespread area. In fact, the chief says this is one of the most widespread he's seen in his career here. What we do know is that there was some sort of gunfight that took place here early in the morning. We're told around 2:10 a.m. is whenever that call came in. We were told that this was an active gunfight and that at some point officers who did arrive did end up firing. However, that did not strike anyone. Here's a little bit of what the chief ended up having to say.
This is one of the larger crime scenes that we've encountered, that I've encountered, probably top 10 largest crime scenes in my entire career. It's massive.
They are continuing to learn more as the morning goes on.
At this point, interviews, dozens of them, are being conducted to get a little bit more idea of the timeline of things and what led up to it. Chief Winstrom says he's not exactly sure what led up to this. He did mention that there was a bar nearby. He's not sure if this was something that was involved in a meetup that was happening late in early in the morning or late through the night. We're going to go ahead and go through that information, try to give you a more clear picture. But for now, one person is dead, another person in the hospital injured as a result of what took place early this morning. For now, we're live here in Grand Rapids. Trevier Gonzalez, 13 on your side.
Trevier, thank you. Getting right out to the scene of that breaking news. We'll continue to follow that and bring you updates as we learn more. Turning to weather now, we've had a few days of some gloomy and cloudy weather. Blake, we're expecting some changes for the weekend.
Yeah, this is our transitional day between the gloomier weather we've seen the last few and the sun-filled forecast we have this weekend. Quiet start this morning, however, 60 degrees. That is the number here in downtown Holland. It's really just a matter of how long the cloud coverage remains in place today. We're seeing an overcast sky across all of West Michigan, even some locally dense fog up towards Ludington, Mason County, just north of Pentwater. That's where we've seen some of that ground fog become in and out.
Breaking news, one killed, another injured in an early morning shooting in Grand Rapids.
2 officers were involved. 13 on your sides. Trevier Gonzalez joins us live at the scene right now where police are investigating. Trevier, what do we know so far?
Yeah, we've been able to go through that interview with Chief Winstrom, which happened just within an hour, really. A lot of information that is there, but this is here along Division, and this is a big crime scene. Let's go ahead and take a look of just how wide this goes. There are dozens of interviews that still need to be conducted to get a better idea of what's happening, but this is what we've been told so far. It was around 2:10 in the morning when 2 officers were traveling north along Division Street, and they ended up hearing gunfire. Now, this was at the 1400 block of Division here. Now that's right along a place called My Place Bar. The chief said it's too early to know if that's somehow connected, but there was a big crowd around here at midnight. Here's what he had to say.
So I'm thinking there were probably hundreds of people down here when this all went. According to some of the officers who arrived quickly, it was utter chaos.
Officers described seeing a large group of people running and said that there was an active gunfight. Now, one officer did fire, but that bullet did not strike anyone. Now, there are 2 people involved in this gunfight who were hit. One was struck in the stomach and is now described in critical condition in the hospital. And another big part of this is the other person involved is dead. So at this point, there's a lot to be done when it comes to recovering evidence. We're told that there are 2 handguns at this point that are, in the custody of these police officers as they continue this investigation. There were also 30 people inside the bar by the time this was happening, with 20 people outside. So really does go to show that this was a chaotic incident. Again, one person is dead as a result of all of this. Another person in the hospital with a severe wound to the stomach as a result of a gunfight. For now, we are here in Grand Rapids. Going to try to learn more, get a little bit more information going for you, but we'll send it back to you guys.
All right, Trevier, thank you. We will continue to follow this story.
We've been following some breaking news early this morning. One person is dead, another seriously injured after an early morning shooting in Grand Rapids.
2 officers were involved. 13 on your sides. Trevier Gonzalez is live at the scene where police are still investigating. Trevier, what can you tell us?
It is a very large crime scene here, and it sounds like it's going to stay this way for a very long time. We can continue to see just how many different entities are here really going through. The chief saying this is one of the largest scenes he's seen in his career, at least in the top 10. Here's a little bit of what we know so far. It was 2:10 in the morning when there were two Grand Rapids officers who were traveling north along Division Street, and they ended up hearing gunfire. Now, this was at the 1400 block of Division. That's right along My Place Bar. The chief said it's too early to really say if that is somehow connected, but we do know that there were a lot of people here as of midnight. Now, the chief ended up saying that there were I would say, at least 20 to 30 people by the time that they arrived and this shooting would happen, but he said this was a very chaotic scene, and here's a little bit of what they had to say going into this.
We're still assessing how much damage. As I said, we recovered 2 handguns on scene, but the officers and some witnesses, I believe, have reporting at least people seeing at least 5 guns, maybe 6 guns on people at a minimum. So a very chaotic scene, very difficult to piece all together.
Now, at this point, 2 handguns have been recovered, but as you had just heard, there is the potential that this was a lot bigger when we do mention the words gunfight. Something to be said, of course, is that one person is dead, the other person is in critical condition in the hospital as a result of being shot in the stomach. This is something that is going to take a lot of time, but certainly a chaotic scene, and we're going to try to see. The Grand Rapids Police said they're done with press briefings out here on the scene, but we'll continue to try chatting with them as we do continue to get updates as a result of how this investigations go. For now, we're live here in Grand Rapids. Trevier Gonzalez, 13 on your side.
All right, thank you, Trevier, for that update. We will continue to follow this story.
Be sure to
I'm sure he has a family that loves him very much and cares about him. His life was important, and we're going to need to find justice for him, closure for his family.
A man is dead and another in critical condition after what police are describing as an early morning gunfight. The Grand Rapids Chief of Police says the person killed appears to be a young man. 13 on your side's Trevier Gonzalez has been following the story all morning. He joins us live now from the scene along Division. Trevier, is the road still shut down?
Yeah, Veronica, it is, and it looks like it's going to be that way for some time, and that's just because this is a really big scene. In fact, Chief Winstrom says this is really one of the biggest types of crime scenes that he's really seen in his career. So we want to go ahead and let you know what we know so far. At this point, one person was fatally shot, another critically injured after being shot in the stomach. This happened around 1:30 in the morning. 2 officers were driving along Division Avenue when they heard gunfire. This was at the 1400 block of Division. Officers describe seeing a large group of people running. This is right by the My Place Bar, and the chief says that buildings and cars were struck by bullets, and there were a lot of people around too.
Well, I'm thinking there were probably hundreds of people down here when this all went. According to some of the officers who arrived quickly, it was utter chaos.
Now, this is how things look now with the lights on. During the shootout, one of those responding officers fired at an individual, but their understanding is that it did not actually strike anyone. Chief Winstrom praised that response, calling it brave and courageous, but because this is an incident with an officer firing their weapon, that officer has been placed on administrative leave while Michigan State Police investigates the officer-involved shooting portion. At this point, we do not know the identity of either of the victims at this point. So far, there have been dozens interviewed, and a lot of evidence has also been retrieved.
We recovered 2 handguns on scene, but the officers and some witnesses, I believe, have reporting at least people seeing at least 5 guns, maybe 6 guns on people at a minimum. So a very chaotic scene, very difficult to piece all together, so hence the massive police presence down here.
So this is something that's really been here since early this morning. There is no set timeline as to when this part of Division, many blocks really, will be opened back up to the public. There's a lot of businesses that are getting affected by this, but they are doing their work. We've seen drones in the air being able to really just kind of get a better understanding of what went down. No word of possible suspects, at this time. However, if you do have any information, the chief is asking for you to call them, give them information to their investigators, or call Silent Observer. For now, we're live here in Grand Rapids. Trevier Gonzalez, 13 on your side.